Hey, everybody. My next guest is proprietor and winemaker Russel P. Frome from Herman Story Wines.
How you doing?
Good. Glad you're here. Russell began Herman Story in 2001 with 7 barrels stashed. This is what I have in my notes. Stashed. I'm going to ask you about that.
Right.
And his employer's cellar. What started as a modest homage to his rancher grandfather has become a beacon of those seeking opulent, structured Syrahs and Grenache. And to maintain balance while giving full flavor, Russell works with 30 top-tier vineyards in over 7 distinct growing regions between Santa Barbara and Paso, Robles. Vineyards of particular note include Viñasito, Larner, Shadow Canyon, Shell Mountain, and White Hawk. And as his bio states, and I do love this, these are no-nonsense, balls-to-the-wall wines that are not for the faint of heart or the pinky-raising set. Welcome, Russell. Is there anything else you want to include?
No, that sums it up right there.
And a fun fact, Russell's assistant winemaker is this, I don't even know Chris's last name. Crazy Chris from fucking Virginia.
Yeah, Chris Caron by.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
he's like our GM.
Yeah.
And then we have all kinds of people over there. We have
It's a fun bunch. He sent me the 6-pack picture, the photo of you guys. Guys with their 6-packs. But we don't have a whole lot of time. We're going to sit down and do this another time. If you come to New York, we're at the market. I'd love to have you on the podcast proper.
Yeah.
But tell people, let's talk about 7 barrels stashed in your employer's cellar.
So back in 2001, I worked for a big custom crush in Santa Maria. And custom crush back then, there weren't very many places where someone could just buy grapes from a vineyard and make wine. And so I worked at the big side of the whole thing where we were pushing 5,000, 6,000 tons. And in the very back corner, they allowed me to make a little bit of wine. And the Miller family, who owned Viñasito, Central Coast Wine Services, all this stuff. And it's inspired me to do the same for my employees. I have five employees that make wine at my place, Chris being one of them.
Yep.
And St. K, and then Lost Blues, and Cameron with Ultima Thule. I mean, you could sit there and do a whole podcast week and never leave the building.
Right. And wait, and your wife is
Desperada.
Desperada, yeah.
Valia, my wife.
Yeah.
She's in Tin City, and then 2 of her people make wine, and then they have a bubble project. We have all kinds of things always in the works. You never get bored.
Yeah, when I first came out, I was like, oh, you guys are called the cool kids out here because you just.
Right, the cool kid. Today we're the hungover kids.
Yeah, is 100%.
We had a lot of wine last night, bonfire, and the rain came. We haven't had rain, so we were rain dancing and enjoying that to all the rain for the vineyards, and so it was a fun time.
So let's talk about balls to the walls wines, man. Like what was your inspiration to create these? I mean, I like these wines, right? And,
Thank you.
I like wines that have flavor. I like voluptuous wines. I like some when I'm drinking my wines.
Well, we do this. There's a few secrets, and I'll tell you all of them. The low yield, so we have to crop everything way down to low to very little yield and not do so much water so that we can get the sugars we want. And to get these opulent, bigger wines, you need to get higher sugar. And so vines only have a certain amount of energy, so we crop them down. We also we wait to pick until they taste good. I don't even I don't even have a refractometer or sugar tester in my truck. I just taste, and if I taste green or I taste potential left, I look at the vines. They still have green leaves. I leave them and I push. But the balls to the walls. When you make big monster wines, there's a difference between making a big monster wine, I think, professionally tasting.
Yes.
Meaning it's not sweet, it's dry. All our wines are dried, unfiltered.
Yep.
And in order to do that, you can't. If you leave sugar, you're going to re-ferment. So to get it just at the precipice, and really that's hard thing to do, is to keep and to preserve that wine and to get it all the way. We run into rains where most Pinot producers will pick, and then we'll have 2 more rains that we have to deal with. And talk about balls, you have to sometimes let it piss rain, and knowing how many tons of grapes you still have hanging out. And often I am the only guy in town in this situation, because if you go to most vineyards, people laugh they say, "Oh, whose grapes are those? You got grapes hanging in the valley. I saw grapes on the vine. Got to be yours, buddy." And I said, "Yep, you're damn right." So, what do you? And they're in Tahiti, but that's it. You just got to push the limits, and it's easy. It's if I worked for a winery, I wouldn't push as hard as I push. But since it's my stuff, I risk and I push it all the way to the end.
I love that,
and that's
man.
that. Yeah. Somebody asked me once, where did I learn all this? I said, when I started using my own money, I got real smart real quick. You know?
Yeah. People are like, why's your podcast so good? You know how deep I'm into this podcast, man.
Right? You're like, well,
I'm not standing here with a fucking tape recorder, like, catching people as they come out the room.
Yeah, when it becomes a passion, you got to throw all. You got to, if you put everything into whatever you're doing, and that's almost become cliche. I guess people always say, "Oh, put all your effort in," but really get involved.
No, but how many people actually do that? Exactly, right? Like, it can be cliche, but how many people actually really walk the walk? You know,
if you're making brake parts, maybe you just make cheap brake parts. Right. But when you're making something of art, you want it to be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and it's an homage to like your family. So the names are, you want it to like, you want them to be proud.
Yes.
Yes. And you also have these really cool wines, like talk about Late Bloomer, just because I just love that wine. Which, by the way, I'll tell you about it. Go ahead, tell about Late Bloomer. I'm sorry.
Late Bloomer, Grenache is one of those varieties that loves time in barrel, and it just gets better and finer, the tannins, and especially if we do whole cluster, and that whole cluster takes a while to become like the kind of Christmassy cookie thing going on in Grenache. And so I wanted to do an extended age Grenache, and I had this picture of myself when I was in 7th grade on my fridge, and I was with my buddy Mike Rad, and we were drinking wine, smoking a little bit, making food, and he goes, "You should call it Late Bloomer." Bam. And I said, "That's what I'm going to do." So we started at 3 years in barrel, and then we went to 4 years in barrel, but it's a contest we run to our mailing list and wine club. We say, hey, send us your best of the worst. And so every year it's a different person on there.
Yeah.
And it's my wife is the one, we're bookend. So I was the first one in 2010. And some people say, oh, it's awful you do that to people, the customers. I said, well, I was the first one, so take that off the plate. And then my wife is the current one. And so, yeah. And people send us a lot of cute pictures. It really has to be really bad. And then there's some that are so bad we don't do it.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact. I was rejected from the Late Bloomer. Chris hit me up. He's like, you didn't have one like 2 years ago. He's like, dude. And I sent him a picture like, dude, you're always good looking. I'd send him, I was like, this. I was like, no. I was like, yeah. I got rejected. Damn it.
I just being next to you, I would say you're way too handsome to be a Late Bloomer.
So, what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
You know what I'm looking for? I've already gotten a fill from from going to the lunches and the camaraderie. Mm-hmm. All the Rhone people that make Rhone wines from all over the world, and a lot of customers we haven't seen, and just to be doing a tasting. We haven't done one in so long, and but to see just the effort that everybody puts into it too. And this is one of the best run events. Like a lot of events, we lug all our wines. Mm-hmm. For this event, they are all at our table, so we don't come in all sweaty mess and just worked when they and it's just really done right. And it's always fun, and there's always a great crowd. But to see all the French winemakers and Australian winemakers, and that kind of makes you feel to pinch yourself and go, wow, this is a real cool job I got.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. So I like fucking with people. So
okay.
I have this thing where
there's no bucket over my head.
No, we're not.
Woo.
It's not what's that shit called?
That's Bobby
Not
Fox.
Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby Fox just walked by. He's
Bobby
the
Fox
unofficial mayor of Paso. When are you going to come out and say it's time to be mayor, Bobby Fox? That's my Harvest T-shirt.
I know they look like they're doing something surreptitious. They're walking out with some cases like
right.
past the barriers.
You never know. There's always surprises here at Hospice.
So we're gonna play this fun game where you have to choose. You have to marry a grape, you have to like a grape, and you have to ditch a grape. Grenache, Syrah, or Mourvedre. Choose. Which one do you love? Which one do you like? Which one are you ditching?
Syrah. I'm going. Oh, this is tough. I'm exposing myself, not physically, but
You're showing your wine making ass.
Syrah, and I'd probably dump Mourvedre.
Okay.
Oh, it's hard to say.
I know it's not hard. I picked them because we're at a Rhone. I mean, you guys love all these. But everybody's got their favorite.
Yeah.
So.
And only because sometimes it smells like poo-poo.
Yeah.
And so I say, well, if it smells like poo-poo sometimes, it's got to go.
Yeah. Oh man, thanks.
If that makes sense, you know,
right?
It
totally makes sense. Listen, one of the things when I before I started the podcast, I used to do crazy reviews, and I would just keep it real with people, and like I had like a 95 or an 85 Cologne Segura, and literally I was like shit dip pencil tip. It literally that's what it smelled like,
Yeah.
So I get it. If it's I'm not a huge. I'll drink Bordeaux, but I'm live on the Central Coast pretty much when it comes to like my daily drinking.
And Grenache can go. You can grow Grenache in Santa Maria. You can grow Grenache in West Paso. You can grow Grenache a lot of places. So I almost ditched it for that fact.
Yeah.
You can do the same with Syrah. You get different character. Mourvedre, the one thing that it does have for itself, it can only grow in certain areas where there's a lot of heat.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. I've tried Santa Maria Mourvedre.
Yeah.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's like really hard.
Yeah. So, Russell, tell everybody where they can find you, how they can be a part of everything you're doing at Herman Story Wines, man.
You can go on our website. We have it's kind of a basic website. We keep it basic because we don't want to get too fancy. We have a lot of playful stuff and our tasting notes and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we do all kinds of weird shit at the winery and weird marketing stuff. We're a pretty good Instagram site that we all work on, and but at the same you have to make great wine. Number one, making fine wine. The finer the wine, the more we can really let our hair down and do the stupid shit and not worry about like somebody either getting offended or thinking it's stupid. Like, what is this guy doing? I very much take the wine serious, and we have a good time. Who doesn't want that? We're not stale. But
Love
go to
it,
our
man.
thing. Yeah, we have nerdy tech, all kinds of stuff, and you can just. I think we have you need wine, just email us or call us. We got you. Yeah, you even have a phone. We have live person right now, this second. Boom.
That's awesome, man. Thanks so much, Russell, for coming here.
Thank you. We're going to do a long one.
Yeah, we're going to do a long one.
Yeah.
Yes,
That'd be awesome.
absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, well,
Cool.
I'll see you later. We'll be drinking later and forget about last night and start drinking again. So there it is.
I have some Coors Lights under my table.
There you go.
This isn't live, is it?
No.
Perfect.
All right, man.
Hang on, I want another picture of you guys.
I'm getting better. I'll get in the.
Yeah, I was 99% better. Okay, how about arm around each other, you guys?
Yeah.
Come on, you both hung over. I love it.